Alright, what's up y'all, it's LakerFan here. As you can see by the title of today's video, here to tell you everything you need to know before making a slasher build in NBA 2K26. So, obviously, I do mean pure slashers in a sense, but also this can still correlate a lot to people that want to have super high finishing on their build but still have some shooting as well. It's just, it really is a big difference between a pure slasher and a slasher with like 80 3-pointer or something like that, but it should still correlate all the information to the exact same builds. So anyway, let's get straight into this. I hope y'all enjoy. If you do, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on noties, all that good stuff, and like always, try to win 1,000 likes. I also have to shout out 2K for allowing me to play the early content creator tip off, getting access to the game early, and being able to actually provide this kind of content. So anyway, finally into it, let's go ahead and get down the notes. We have the first thing is very important, and I really do want to stress this. There is no more important SIG in the game than your behind the back animation, except for dunk packages. Now dribble style is up there too, I have to say, but behind the back is essentially a way to move downhill while also A, maintaining your speed, but then B, flipping your ball hand. So if a defender were, let's say, on the elbow, for instance, at the free throw line, you can simply hit this behind the back and move past him, keeping your speed moving downhill the same you would if you were just continuing to sprint at him, but it's your counter to when people cut off your drive hand. That's why it's so significantly important to have something like this Devin Booker behind the back to be able to flip your ball hand. Another example of this for the bigs would be pro behind the back, essentially, where you're going to be able to do the same thing, but not quite as big, like bursty and snappy, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a lot tighter and not as crazy, like wide movement, but it's the best you got as a 6'10 plus. So just keep that in mind. Those are your options. Not to mention, if we come back to the display screen right here, things that are also important are dribble styles. So for bigs, both of those players have like Giannis on for the big man and then Zach LaVine on for the wing. And this is going to be 75 speed with ball for LaVine, 55 speed with ball for Giannis. These are huge things to hit for slashers. And if you're going to be a 6'10 plus, absolutely get this 55 speed with ball Giannis. It's going to be from, speed boosting to your ball hand, essentially. And then LaVine can go both ways. He can do the cross launch to your offhand as well as just run downhill toward your new ball hand as well. So both of them are major keys as far as like being able to dribble yourself to the finish as a slasher. Now, as far as the actual finish itself, as you can see, we have, dunk packages right here with the side clutches, quick drops, tomahawks if you want to be a little bit out of line but still safe. So all of those things considered, really important. Equip your standing dunk packages too, if obviously you're like a 6'8", 6'10", anything that's like between the wings and bigs. If you're a small guard, obviously you cannot get standing dunk packages. I also want to mention, it's not on the list because it's a little bit more myth than proven fact, but Mike Wang, the game developer, obviously has been asked about it by Joe, and he did respond with yes. Small guards don't get as great of a dunk animation distance, if you will, or at least that's kind of my inkling of what he also meant to say. But then on top of that too, that they don't embrace the contact quite as much with contact dunks. So the bigger you are, the easier it is to dunk inherently. It just kind of works like that as far as proccing the range on them, as well as just the contact you can like kind of absorb while also going to the hoop. So a little bit of a side tangent because I didn't put it on there, but again, it's because I don't know if I feel factually evident behind that. Now I just want to knock out the 6'10 or 6'8 kind of conversation right here. I think those are by far the best two heights for making a slasher build, and that's what I'm going to be making as my two slasher builds, one as a point center and one as essentially like an undersized big man that can still absolutely put the ball on the floor. Now, it would defeat the purpose for me to obviously show you guys those exact builds, so if you want to check them out, they're on the channel right now, or the slasher one will be going up in probably like an hour from when this one uploads if you guys are watching this on the release of the video. If you're a little bit later, like a couple days or a week or something like that, feel free to check out both of those builds. They're absolutely on the channel, and I'm looking forward to both of them. They look so good, bro, and I'm just so excited. And it's because of all the accumulation of things. Like, let's move forward as well, right? The floaters, all the layups and stuff. Reeves is looking good value for wings. If you want to try some of the big man ones, Bam for the floater is huge, and you get to run it at a wing and big, and that one's essentially just crazy range to boost your range as a pure slasher. Or if you're someone that wants to utilize those and doesn't really use the mid-range game quite as much, but you still have a three-point threat, that is absolutely a threat as far as the floaters, and you can really add that to your game 100%. So moving forward into the list, we also have, I'll come back to the max +1 at the end of the video. I just want to talk about this right here, then we'll talk about the +1s and the cap breakers and how this can potentially enable you a little bit. Okay, so real quick, I did just want to say though, I'll be working on gather layup animations throughout the year. I could not get to all this information in one day. I have been putting in work today, and I'm sure a lot of y'all have been noticing it, and I've been getting a lot of appreciation for it in the comments and stuff too, so I really do appreciate you guys noticing that as well. But for those of you who haven't been, you know, tapped in with the channel, I've pretty much been labbing animations or builds since, like, I don't know, about 11 hours ago to this point, essentially. And then doing the videos of recording and all that stuff too. My voice is also kind of running out a little bit too. So anyway, point being is I don't have the time currently to test the gathers. I absolutely will soon though. Unfortunately for my slasher builds, and like the big man should be fine because a lot of the big man layup packages are 80 layup rating and under. But for the wings, it's a little bit more dangerous. So what I might do is just make the 6'10 day one, and I probably encourage you guys to do the same as well. And then the 6'8 will be a little bit more fine-tuned and figure out what kind of animations and layup rating and stuff like that we want. Or to segue into this part right here, let's go ahead and switch the screen. The discussion on cap breakers is a really important one. So this right here is the 6'8 I was debating creating right here. And what I did is I wanted to show you guys this because I have like kind of footage of both, right? So I just want to give an example. I had to drop the rebound by 9 right here to put my 3-pointer to a 40, but it's because we have the capability to put a lot of cap break points into this 3-pointer. So when you go from, let's just get the calculator, I don't feel like doing the math right now. When you go from 40 3-pointer and then you go, that's obviously plus 15, and then you got plus 6, plus 5, and then plus another 5, that's 71 3-pointer right there, which eventually could be very makeable. Obviously. Now, if you were to go from 25 3-pointer and try and get this up with the plus 5 cap breakers, it'll go to 62. We already showed that in video, so I can just say that, and if you really want proof, then you could just check the video out too, but take my word for it. It was 62 3-pointer from 25 3-point all the way up to 62. So they both inherently gain quite a bit of value, but you know, one is going from 40 to 71 and the other is going from 25 to 62. So you can feel free to do the math on that how you want of which one benefits how much off each cap breaker. But anyway, point being is, for you guys out there who may be pure slashers, you could maybe segue your build and playstyle into having a respectable 3-pointer at some point. So I find it pretty interesting, and I wanted to show you some of the cap breaker utilization. Or another thing that maybe I want to talk about the cap breakers is the cost of high dunk rating. So it's pretty expensive, and dropping my dunk from 96 to 93 is literally what enabled me to go with like an 85 block and an 82 interior defense instead of like 74 on both of them. Just dropping that 3 dunk is all it took. So essentially what I'm trying to get at, fellas, is I don't know if 99 dunk with like, you know, 90 vertical is essentially worth. I think a good spot to be, as you can see I have 85 vertical, is to cap break your way into 96 dunk, have enough for the Hall of Fame poster and the elite contacts off too, and then just be able to utilize just that 3 for your cap breaks and call it a day at that. Anything past that, I guess with this build you'd probably think to go with the 3-pointer, or if I were to retool this at all planning for cap breakers, it'd maybe be like 87 per rim so I could go to 92. So pretty much what I'm getting at is 80 agility actually is, yes, enough to go in tandem with 92 per MD to combine for like gold on-ball menace or something like that. So technically if I was playing around cap breakers, I'd probably go with the 87 per rim on a build like this. And then, you know, that gives something to do after getting that plus 3 to the driving dunk. But anyway, like I said, I think the safer play as a slasher is probably go to with the 6'10. Now, I said I wouldn't show you all the builds, but here I am. I just break my own rules on YouTube anyway, so let's just do it. I'm gonna show you guys the this is such a cool build name too, for that matter, but the yamming force of nature. Now, to be fair, I don't really know which one is which. I'll just cut it to when I get on the right one. All right, so the reason I say this build is so much safer, essentially, and like, you know, kind of garbage proof, if you will, is A, it's a lot easier to fit in with standing dunks. I mean, you can truly just, you know, dunk on people below the basket. It is a huge benefit as a big man that has like high offensive rebound and stuff like that too. It's very solid in terms of like its long-term potential and its short-term potential. So it already reaches caps like, you know, gold rebound chaser with 92 D-board, and then like gold posterizer with 93 driving dunk as well. But both of those ratings can be played into long-term as well, where if I put +4 defensive rebound, that's now Hall of Fame rebound chaser and Hall of Fame box out beast too. And then if you go +3 driving dunk, that's now 96 dunk for Hall of Fame poster and elite contacts off too. So both levels of this are playable by all means, but you can play into the future a little bit too with cap breaks if you'd like to as well. Both builds are great for the max +1 slots and stuff like that too, and the +2s and the specialization and all that. So don't worry about that at all. Both of them have great utilization in terms of that. And then I would say probably what's left over, maybe invest into the 3-point idea and try. But by that point, we would see if it's possible to hit with like a 58, 55 3-pointer, 62, 75, whatever you try and hit for the ballpark, obviously, right? We'll know what's possible by that point. So at least saving this as an idea for later, but being okay with being up here inside is kind of the concept here. And then if that was garbage, then you could just go maybe into the standing dunk investment or something like that, or the other rebound category. So anyway, that's all for video. Actually, scratch that. I was going to end the video, but instead, let's go ahead and get on this part right here. So let's start with the 6'10". It's a little bit easier. You could read the 6'11" stuff too. This is going to be a lot to do with like the big slashers, but the max +1 utilization and +2. These are the types of outlooks you're going to be looking at. The 6'10 is going to get lightning launch. That's huge, and why I say the 6'10 is better than the 6'11, especially, is because you get lightning launch, and then you'll be able to max +2 it to gold instead of bronze. It's color-coded, by the way, so like purple is rebounding, brick wall falls under rebounding now, just so you know. Blue is finishing, yellow is playmaking, red's defense. You get the deal, right? So anyway, you can see like the tier 2 badges you get for 6'10, Challenger, lightning launch, high flying denier. Those are all pretty good. Solid. I would say Challenger, lightning launch a little bit more so. And then for the tier 1s, if you specialize in rebounding, you can get both of these to constantly get buffed, and then you could just do the finishing as your tier 1, tier 2, or tier 1 +1 and then tier 1 +2, or you could specialize in finishing, always have these, then put these in your other tier 1 and like +1, +2 or whatever. So anyway, point being, specialize in one, you know, tier 1 the other, essentially. So anyway, besides that, we have also the 6'8s. So this is the type of outlook I'd be looking at for something like that. So like box out beast, paint patroller, brick wall, lightning launch. This is not for 6'7", 6'6", or anything like that. It's just 6'8". Poster, rebound chaser, interceptor, stuff like that in tier 1. So anyway, I just wanted to give a couple of those options for the max +1, +2, stuff like that, obviously, for the 6'10", 6'8", and even kind of the 6'11" as well. But again, I would probably not recommend going so much with that, just for the sake of it's hard to probably function as a slasher quite as much without the lightning launch and obviously stuff like that. But the one thing the 6'11" maybe would have going for it is the ability to get posterizer in the tier 2. It is pretty cool, but again, I think there's plenty of good tier 2s on the 6'10", 6'8", and stuff like that as well to, you know, reasonably not think this is better. Plus, you got to be a very specific way of building the 6'11" to even get things like gold poster in the first place. So I don't know, it's just a little bit awkward, I guess, is all I would say. But I don't know, you could lab up that stuff if you'd like as well. But anyway, that's all for video. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on noties, all that good stuff. Like always, try one to 1,000 likes. And if you made it to the end of the video, put / in the comments to show support you made all the way through. Again, I'm always trying to look out for you guys that are in the slasher community. The one thing that, as you can see, that I've mentioned too, that we really need to hit on eventually is the gathers. But again, that's another reason that I think the big man is a little bit safer. Any package that you get for layups as a big, you will get no matter what as you make 80 layup. We don't know the kind of value you need to shoot for the best gathers and stuff like that yet on either of them, but the fact that you can get them all no matter what with an 80 is nice. The wings are like all scattered amongst like 83, 82, 85, 87. It's just like a crapshoot of like what's going to be good, what's not, and I don't know yet. So, and I don't got the time to know yet, and you guys are going to have to make your builds by tomorrow. So I just gotta, you know, tell you that I think 6'10 is the safer way to go. But anyway, that's all for video. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you made it to the end, like I said, put /, and on that, take it easy, man. Peace.